Okay, Mike, back in the shop, my 69 Framus Texan. So, I bought this guitar at Stevens Stringed Instruments in Seattle in 1995. So I have had it 30 years. It's seen a fair amount of playing, but it's in super excellent shape. There is a few super unique things about the Framus Texans from the late 60s and early 70s. So, number one, let me flip this over. It's a bolt on neck, it's not a set neck. So, you can remove the neck, you can shim, you can reposition, you can adjust neck angle and action, all because you can actually pull the neck off, and it's not a set neck like a standard acoustic. Also super unique for the neck is, if you see, there's about 45 to 50 plies of wood, and the way Framus built these necks was they sandwiched together all of these individual plies. Then they cut the neck blanks out, and then they shape them. So there's all of these individual pieces of wood sandwiched together to create the neck, which makes it super, super beefy and strong. And it resonates really nicely as well. And then the third feature is it's a bowl back. So the front is flat, like a standard acoustic, but it actually has a bowl back shaped, and that adds to its projection and how loud it is, because it's a very loud acoustic. There is this bit of finish deform, and I'm guessing whoever had it before me had it too close to a heat source, fireplace heater, who knows. Nothing's cracked. The wood is completely, the integrity of the wood is solid, as well as where the binding attaches, all super solid. It's just a little ugly there, and it was there when I bought it, and it doesn't really bother me, and I've never decided I wanted to take on refinishing that, because the wood, the integrity of the wood for the side and for the back is, and the binding is all good. Those are new tuners from Framus that I ordered from Germany. I put those on in the early 2000s. So put on actual factory OEM tuners, new ones. So just recently, going through it to get it ready to list on eBay and Reverb, I pulled off all the hardware, the entire bridge, removed the bridge, removed all of the individual trim pieces, polished everything, oiled up the rosewood bridge, and we're going to come back to this here in a second. This is the saddle holder that fully adjusts. So you have screws here that you can raise and lower, and you can adjust the action right here if you want it higher or if you want it lower. It's a nice feature for this guitar. You can do it right there. I taped off and polished out all the frets. It has not been refretted. These are all the factory frets from 1969, all in super good shape, nice and tall, nice and wide, no divoting or dings from excessive playing. Again, pulled all of this hardware off and polished everything up. And it's an amazing guitar. I'll play it for you here in a second. But so back to this saddle holder. So I'll show you this. I'll set it here. So here is the original saddle holder that came on the guitar in 1969. And if I hold it over, or set it over here, you can see that that slot to hold the saddle was right in the middle. Well, now the slot to hold the saddle is set back by about 1/8 of an inch. So what was going on with this guitar, and it's inherent to the Framuses of this era, is the intonation to get the intonation dialed in for this guitar, the placement of this bridge, this whole rosewood bridge, needed to be set back a little bit because they really didn't have an immense amount of quality control. They basically took the first octave, which is from the nut to the 12th fret, and you take that distance and you drop your new bridge, or the bridge that went on it originally, and you get close. But they didn't spend a lot of time getting it perfect. So the guitar will hold a tune, but it wouldn't intonate correctly. Well, what I did was I pulled this original bridge holder off, and I went up to my buddy who has a machine shop in Marysville, and he fabricated another bridge or saddle holder that I could drop in that looks identical after I polished it out, because this one is steel. The one that's in there is aluminum, but it looks steel now that I polished it out. The key here is it dropped the slot back by about 1/8 of an inch, and now the intonation on the guitar is perfect. It's like it might be a micron off when you're pinging the 12th fret harmonic and matching it to the 12th fret note, where it was super sharp. Now it moving the saddle back where the strings ride over, it flattened it out and it got the intonation almost perfect as compared to when the saddle used to sit in this one from 1969. So that's a feature alone that makes this guitar super unique and playable, because the intonation is now just like it's a hair. When I ping the 12th fret harmonic and play that 12th fret note, where it used to be super sharp and way out, now it's like a hair away from being in perfect intonation just by moving